Welcome back to another episode of Tech Trends Unplugged, where we dive deep into the world of technology and development. Today, we're exploring an intriguing library called libmodulor, which aims to streamline the creation of business-oriented applications using TypeScript. Now, I know what you might be thinking, oh no, not another framework, but trust me, this one has a unique angle that makes it worth our time. So what's the scoop on libmodulor? Well, it's designed with 6 main properties. Think of it like a Swiss Army knife for developers. First, it's strictly typed with explicit business data types, which means it helps you maintain clarity in your code. No more guessing about what type of data should go where. Next, we have fully typed end-to-end capabilities, which means every part of your application is covered without generating any additional code. How cool is that? But wait, there's more. Libmodulor is auto-documented and auto-tested. Developers know how tedious documentation can be, right? Imagine a library that handles that for you. And the cherry on top, it's designed to run on multiple platforms and runtimes. So whether you prefer Node.js, Dino, or even running it on a Raspberry Pi, you're set to go. Now, I want to take a moment to address a little disclaimer here. The project is still in active development. It's being built by just one individual, which means that while it's already being used in pilot projects, some features may still be in flux. Essentially, it's like a work-in-progress masterpiece. If you're the adventurous type who loves to experiment, you might just find it intriguing. So here's where it gets interesting. The philosophy behind libmodulor. In today's world, there are countless JavaScript frameworks out there, and yes, it can feel overwhelming. But what libmodulor aims to do is different. It's less about dictating how you should build your application, and more about focusing on the core functionalities. You're free to choose your data store, be it PostgreSQL, MongoDB, or whatever tickles your fancy. And you can use any front-end framework you love, be it React, Angular, or Svelte. It's all about empowering developers to build business applications quickly, without falling prey to vendor lock-in or boilerplate madness. The central idea is about offering higher-level primitives that make development smoother and faster. Now let's break down how this actually works. Libmodulor defines a 4-layer architecture: use case, app, product, and target. The first layer, use case, is like the smallest building block of your application, defining contracts based on inputs and outputs for specific business functionalities. It's a bit like a task list, where each item represents a functionality, signing in, creating posts, and so forth. Next up is the app layer, which groups use cases into logical modules, kind of like categorizing your tasks into projects. Then we have the product layer, bundling these apps together into something end users would recognize, like GitHub or Airbnb. Finally, the target layer tells us how it all comes together for the user, whether that be on a web app, a server, or even a command line interface. Now you might be wondering how to get started with libmodulor. The process may sound intense, but it's all about diving in and learning as you go. You start by creating a project, establishing an app, and defining your use cases. In a recent guide, for instance, developers are walking through building a trading application called SuperTrader. It has a trading app that includes use cases like buy asset and list orders. And let me tell you, each step, though it may seem like a lot, quickly leads you to grasping the bigger picture of how everything fits together. So before we wrap up, let's ponder this. With so many frameworks competing for our attention, what do you think it will take for developers to embrace a new tool,